Okay, welcome back. A lot of excitement here. Last episode we ended off just trekking aimlessly through the north and through the woods, and we finally found ourselves into a storyline type event. So we stumbled along into this forest. Our thirst is good, our hunger is good, we're pretty well rested. We're absolutely struggling with the load that we're carrying, but we're barely in any pain, very comfortable with the situation. So let's continue on. So you're in a forest and something is watching you. You're almost certain of it. I can continue into the forest, turn back, use botany to check the local flora for clues. I can also use trapping for the same thing, or I can scan the area. So I'm going to scan the area. Confirm. You stop moving and start looking carefully into the endless foliage. Your eyes dart from one space to the next, trying to take in all the distant shapes of the forest. You see nothing unusual, however, and the fleeting images at the edge of your vision, whatever they were, seem to be either gone or invisibly waiting for your next move. So I'm going to check the local flora for clues. You stoop to the ground and look at some of the plants here. If this is a creature's natural habitat, maybe there will be clues. At first you see little that catches your eye. You can't see anything to distinguish this forest from the last. But then you notice it. Something has pruned some of the fruit-bearing plants here. It's subtle, and you almost dismissed it as critter activity. However, something deliberately and completely stripped these plants of anything edible. Alright, well, I'm feeling confident that there's people here and not creatures, so I'm going to continue into the forest. Whatever, this thing can go stuff itself. You're going in. Plodding around, all seems still again. You begin to wonder if what you saw was your mind playing tricks on you, or maybe you passed into and then out of a creature's territory. Your thoughts are interrupted when you notice something a ways off to your side. It's humanoid in shape and wearing clothes, but it also has a face as white as plaster. It's staring right at you, and it makes your neck chill. I could call out to it, I could get ready to fight, I could run away or hide. I'm going to call out to it. Trying not to skip the tails towards hostilities, you call out to it. In return, it raises a hand, palm towards you. Several more appear simultaneously in a wide circle around you, seemingly from nowhere. Stranger, says the first, you have entered protected lands. What are your intentions? Peaceful, of course. I don't mean any harm, you say. The figure speaks again. We will take you to one of our elders. You must wear this. It hands out a blindfold and restraints. I don't mean any harm, you say. The figure speaks out again. Oh, I just did that. I was just leaving. Okay. Okay, you say, and await further instructions. One of them fixes the blindfold over your eyes. Meanwhile, your hands are bound behind your back. Despite the restraints, the whole process proceeds without any unnecessary force. You seem to be handled with both caution and respect. You're turned in place and led forward through the forest. Minutes of silent traveling later, you begin to hear sounds. Not forest sounds, but people sounds. Tools being worked, a crack from a fire. Voices startle you from your strained listening. Your captors are talking, but not in English, not in anything you recognize. One of them calls out and a distant voice responds. It sounds like you're entering a camp of some kind. You smell wood burning. Your arrival causes a stir, and you stop moving for a moment. More talking. You're turned in place a bit and then taken away from the heat of the flame for a while. Finally, your journey stops. Your bindings and blindfold removed. As the blurriness clears, you see that you're in a village. Dome-like buildings surrounded by a great fire. Equal parts animal hide and repurposed junk for walls and shelter. Around the village, a mix of regular folk and chalk-faced warriors go about their business. Many more than casually interested in your arrival. Many are more than casually interested. You're taken to a meeting area near the great fire. I should just slow down and read this. In front of you, a portly, middle-aged woman stands by one of the warriors. Her jacket is the color of the sunset, against which is silhouetted a majestic gray crane bird. Hey man, she says. Pretty crazy gig we got here, right? She looks around as if arriving here with you for the first time. Oh, she reaches a hand forward. Michelle. I usually get roped into talking to foreigners. Sorta comes with the badge. She points to her thumb at the crane. Ajishak Dudam. Alright. Come on. She turns toward the village. Let's walk. Small entourage in tow, you walk idly towards the fire. I gotta ask, Michelle begins. You know a Philip? She's being careful not to telegraph too much, but you can tell this is a big thing on her mind. Never heard of him? Or, yes, that's me. My name's Philip Kindred, you reply. Does that count? I knew it, she pumps her fist, like she just won a bet. Old ghost-faced McStabberson back here had you figured for a grave robber. What's with Ghostface? You know me? Who are you people? You know me? So wait. You know me? Yes, she exclaims. Well, no, not personally. Here, she steers you towards the hut. Warm light spills from within, and she draws back a flap to reveal a mixture of handmade and recycled furnishings. Michelle reaches over a cluttered desk and pulls a frame down from amidst dried roots, photos, and other mementos on the wall. She hands the frame to you. You hold the frame up, examining the yellowed photograph. It appears to be a newspaper clipping, done in that old small-town print where the colors don't line up. It's you, or at least someone that looks just like you. You've been here before, she says, looking over your shoulder, and check out the talisman. You look incredulously at her for a moment, then closer at the photo. Sure enough, you're wearing the talisman. The photo's caption reads, "Local website editor rekindles interest in native history." You flip the frame over looking for more, but there's only one thing scrawled on the back, September 2019, which is just before we were committed to the cryo facility. Michelle asks a question. My turn, she says. Where have you been hiding since this? She holds up the photo, and more importantly, how come you don't look any older? Lie and say you don't know. Tell her about the cryo facility. Ever heard of Gaige's cryo facility? Might as well cut to the chase. I guess that explains a few things, she ponders. Unfortunately, you continue, I can't tell you much more than that. I can't remember anything before coming out of cryo. It's like the hibernation wiped my memory. She looks deep in thought. Why I'm in this photo? I think I've heard enough. How long ago was this? What is the talisman? How long ago was this taken? What year is it now? She looks over the features of your face a moment. Yeah, I figured you might ask something like that. You hardly look a day older. She turns the frame back over. You see that guy? That guy there? She indicates a young man, maybe in his 20s or 30s. That was my dad, she says. He had time to raise me, grow old, and pass on since then. She's probably in her 40s if you had to guess. What does that make it, 50 years ago-ish? Sensing you're confusing, she lets out a psh, yeah, wild, huh? What is a talisman? So wait, do you know anything about this? This is getting more complicated, not less. Know anything about it, she chuckles. My man, we made it for you. Then she adds, well, sort of. You just stare, dumbfounded. Oh, this is good. She seems delighted at your confusion. Let me explain, she begins, faking bad English. It's a protective talisman, she starts. Some ancestors carried pieces of copper for both luck and protection. This one, points to yours, you brought to us. My father said you were hiding from a spirit and that you needed protection from it. She continues. The symbol isn't ours. I don't recognize it, and I'm not sure where you got it, she admits. But my father asked the Midiwini of Nuki Dudum, you call them Medicine Man, to give this talisman power and protect you. The spirit wouldn't harm you while it was on. It was a powerful ritual, she recalls. It's one of the events my father recounted on several occasions. She points at the talisman again. That thing was a big deal around here. Okay, I'm more interested in why I was in the photo than the spirit. Maybe the spirit. Spirit was after me? Did you say spirit? She holds up her palms. Hey man, your words, not mine. My father said you were talking about something hunting you. For what? What did I do? Don't ask me. I don't even know if you told my father. Well, what was the spirit? Oh man, my father probably could have told you. You had some pretty specific instructions, and not all of them were germane to us, if you get my drift. Germane? What do you mean, like foreign? Yeah. This thing you were running from, it wasn't ripped out of the pages of our history, if you know what I mean. We've never seen or heard of it. Still, she concedes, some spirits are like that. Not everyone sees them the same. Can you help me get rid of it? Worth a shot, right? Me? Probably not, she concedes. Your hopes take a dive. I'm not even sure the people could do it. You mean the Anishinaabe? Yeah, sorry, she chuckles. That's just our word for the people. Anishinaabe, actually, for plural. Anyway, she hurries to add, this is a spirit from someplace else. How do I get rid of it? So what do I do now? Suppose I want to get rid of this thing chasing me, because, you know, I do. What next? Well, she ponders. Somehow you got its attention, right? I mean, something made you seek us when you did, and not before. You're thinking whatever that was might be a clue. Totally. She thinks a minute more. You did come to us after your work on that website. the New Earth Ostrakhan thing. So it looks like I used to do some web design stuff. So spirits don't like the internet? She chuckles. Think about it a sec. You had to knock on a fair number of doors to get that info, right? Probably disturbed more than one spirit dragging up that data. So, you mused sarcastically, we've narrowed it down to any paranormal occurrence listed on a website, trying to list every single one in history. She laughs. Yeah, now you're getting it. You shake your head. Seriously though, she holds up a binder. We printed off a section. And this place ain't exactly high tech, you know. I'm thinking there's gotta be more complete copy out there somewhere. You mean like a Saber Cafe down the block? Geez man, stop being such a downer. Sorry, you say more calmly. Optimism's a lot of work these days. So is being mopey all the time. It's out there, she says. Has to be. I mean, this data was on everyone's computer at one point, right? At least everyone who contributed to it. That's true. Can't be wiped out from everywhere, she reasons. And if it is, well then you're screwed, Philip. Brings a smile to your face. Well, at least we can agree on that. Come on, she says. Let's show you around. She starts heading towards the great fire. You're standing in an Anishinaabe tribal nations gathering area by the great fire. Around you, you see an area where the people are sharing a meal together, a trader of goods. Further away, you see a cluster of huts near a sweat lodge, where Joe, the Nuki Midawini, that's the doctor, tends to the sick and wounded. So, do I want to visit Joe, sit down for a meal, browse the trading post, or leave the village? Well, I'm probably going to go see Joe, because I got scratched up a little bit, and he'll just generally take care of me. You head towards a cluster of tents near the edge of camp. By the forest, patients reside here, helping attend an area, many of whom are in rehabilitation from drug addiction and other conditions. Warriors are more visible here, keeping the peace in an area where frustration and desperation can overcome the healing. Ahead is an oblong dome hut, from which stream emanates into the cold air. Stream, I said. It is steam emanating into the cold air. A man adorned in bear symbology seems to be preparing the hut. This is Joe, the doctor. Ask Joe to treat illness, clean and dress wounds. Yeah, let's do that. I don't know that I have any illness. I'm not coughing or anything. Members of the Nuki Dudum, under supervision of Joe, have learned how to treat wounds and stop bleeding. Cuts are irrigated with clean water and treated with herbal antiseptic if necessary. Fractured bones are set and splintered. Much of the pain still lingers, and it's time for your body to mend, but at least your wounds are stabilized. So I'm still back there. I could go back and visit Joe again. I could sit down for a meal, which I'm going to do. You approach the long table and find an open place on the bench. The food here is plentiful and appears to be a mix of roasted and dried meats, roasted corn or maize, baked squash and beans. There's also an assortment of berries and other fruit. Overall, the meal is hearty, with diverse flavors of savory and sweet. It fills your stomach, briefly allowing your mind to wander from minute-to-minute survival. The feeling here is one of sharing respect. Visitors to the table are asked to pay respects to the animals that gave their meat, the three sisters for their fruits, and all creation. In the distance you see fields of crops, but also semi-trailers, sheets of tarp over frames, and other repurposed grow-ops for their food. You begin to understand the real sense of urgency that perimeter patrols must feel in watching over this place. The fine line they walk in keeping rebel scum out, but allowing peaceful travelers passage. This really speaks to the urgency and the care of First Nation tribes, because if you think that these people are protecting what they have because they have everything they need, they still have free time, they have leisure, which in a survival situation you have none of. Every single moment you spend is considering your care and survival and your well-being, whereas a group like this, they're leaps and bounds ahead of yourself in terms of comfort. So it's interesting. So I'm gonna go visit the trading post now. Trading post seems to be a place where travelers resupply and offload items which may be of use to the Anishinaabe. A large portion of the inventory appears to be handmade items from local materials and some scavenged goods. Pick up items to purchase them and drop items to sell them. Okay. So, thought I visited the trading post. Browse it. Good. Okay. Okay, so I've picked up the menu here. So there's a bow. Interesting. I don't have range though, so I can't craft my own arrows. This war club is pretty neat. Patrick hide to it. Long hide coat. Oh, that's nice. Very nice. Torch. Lighter. I will definitely be buying that. And some berries and stuff. Tannin tea. This thing is very easy to make. What you do, instead of boiling the water by itself, look at all these bullets too. Instead of just doing the water on its own, you use twigs, and that will also produce this tannin tea. So the tannin tea helps cure or helps alleviate some stressful things. It's just like regular tea. I mean, it's herbal. It helps, but it also sells for a ton. It doesn't help your thirst any more than water, so it's something to keep in mind. But I'm gonna open up my vehicle screen. I'm gonna unload this boot. This is worth a ton, so we got lots of money there. I'm gonna give away this tarp. Am I? I'm not. I am, however, going to sell this gun. Because I don't particularly need it. These are not of any use for me right now. Let's put those in my bag. So I've got this spear, and while it is fantastic, as I understand, I've never used it before, this is the best weapon, melee weapon in the game, and I really want to try it out, so I'm going to. So I've got the club. I imagine that the range is going to be weaker on this than the spear, which is what made this so good, but I can make this anywhere. Cured meat. Campfire. Oh, I want this too. I want the lighter. 100% lighter. Absolutely worth the money. As I understand, bullets are very hard to come by, so don't sell them because they're practically weightless. But at the same time, I don't know. It's all labeled. You got bear root there. That I think you can chew on it to help your pain. Smudge stick unlit. I think that's for dressing wounds. Squirrel snare. Animal hides, small chunk of hide. Okay, I think we're good with what we have now. Oh, I'm gonna sell this too. I'm gonna take the batteries out though. The batteries are gonna keep. And let's sell this. That's a water tester. But basically, I don't use anything but sterilized water as it is. So I think we're good there. So we unloaded some of our burden. Just gonna put this on my back now. It's gonna break soon. It's too bad. I don't think I need anything else. I think I'm good here. Yeah, this sack, laptop too. The laptops are not that difficult to come by, and it is very heavy. Maybe I'll keep the battery and get rid of this. I think that's a good plan. I'm gonna keep the battery. Okay. I'm pretty satisfied with that. I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Okay. Let's leave. We're gonna go. Gathering your things set off from the forest and the wilderness beyond. Okay, so that's the ATN Enclave, and basically it's like a trading post and a healing area, and then there are people that will kind of traverse the area around this land, guarding it, and they're identifiable because it says ATN blank. So because I am friendly to this zone, I can speak to them or what have you. But at any rate, that was a very, very fortunate bit of find. I really didn't expect to find that so fast, so I'm very pleased that I did. I still don't have a couple of the other items I'm looking for, but I got another lighter. Happy about that. I'm gonna need another crowbar soon, so I'm gonna have to start. I don't know. I'm gonna find it somewhere. But I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna break off the episode. I think that was really productive, and thank you again for joining me. We'll see you soon.